Students, myself Dr. K. Shivaya, Department of Pharmacology, Shantiram College of Pharmacy, Nadia. Our next topic is anti-leprotic drugs. So, what is leprosy? Is a chronic systemic infectious disease affecting primarily peripheral nerves and the secondly the skin, mucous membrane, eyes, bones, lymph nodes, and vice versa. Especially, so where the cool places is there in our body, it is more spreaded. So here the meaning chronic and systemic infectious disease. Chronic means actually it is two meanings is there. So one is if the disease affecting more than 1 year, we can call it as chronic. Otherwise, if the disease, the distribution and affecting, if it is more, then we can call it as chronic. So systemic, it is enter into the your system through the blood. It is affect to the entire parts, then affecting their peripheral nerves. Then after that, skin, mucous membrane, eyes, bones, and lymph nodes. So then finally, what happened when these affected organism slowly that affected part will be discriminated. So leprosy is a chronic infectious disease caused by Mycobacterium leprae. Mycobacterium leprae multiplies very slowly. So incubation period is average 5 years. Incubation period is average 5 years. So why it is called Hansen disease? Why it is called Hansen disease? Because of discovered by Gerhard Armour Hansen. He is discovered this disease in 1870. That's why it is also called as Hansen disease. Hansen disease is nothing but leprosy. Okay, it's a chronic granulomatous infection caused by acid-fast bacteria, Mycobacterium leprae. So, Mycobacterium leprae cannot be grown on the culture media in vitro. Drug sensitivity is not possible. But growth and drug susceptibility are done by injecting, inoculating in mouse food pad. So live dormant in macrophages, but alive. So it is also survive in macrophages. It also survive in macrophages. So it transmitted from one person to another person through the nose, mucous membrane, the secretions from that secretions, and skin lesions. So wherever the skin affected part of the skin lesions, it is transmitted. Okay. So affect mainly peripheral nervous system, skin, and various tissues. So this is what is the Mycobacterium leprae and transmitted to one person to another person. So this is an acid-fast bacilli, Mycobacterium. So it is affected to peripheral nervous system and skin, major. So leprosy is a slow communicable disease and a incubation period is between first exposure and appearance of signs of disease. So direct contact, prolonged close contact of susceptible individual to an open case of leprosy, damaged skin, nasal secretion to mucous membrane contact, and mental-fetal transmission. So transmission from milk from mother to infant also. This is overall already we discussed about the transmission. So nasal, oral droplets, dermal inoculations, and armadillo. This is one of organism with it transmit they act as animal model along with monkey, mice, and rabbit. So they transmit easily these leprosy one person to another person and one animal to another animal, and it is more these armadillo is a more transmitted animal. incidence. So where is the possibility of incidence to high transmission of these leprosy disease? The highest risk are those living in the endodermic is areas hot, not endo, endemic areas, nothing but hot and moist conditions. And with poor conditions such as inadequate bedding, contaminated water, and insufficient diet and other diseases that compromise immune function. So highest where the possibility is the in endemic areas. Suppose if you take in, if you observe in the Chennai, it is more hot area and moist, very low moist, and but it is hot. But there is the possibility of the transmission is more, and contaminated water and insufficient diet and compromised immune function. So this is the possibility of incidences more leprosy transmission. According to World Health Organization, India, Brazil, Indonesia, Myanmar, and Nigeria are with the most cases. According to World Health Organization, because of the crowd is more. When the crowd is more, the transmission is more. Because of when the crowd is more, automatically the more hot and the possibility of contamination is more. So basically, these leprosy is two types: tuberculoid type and lepromatous type. So tuberculoid type is a high resistance and lepromatous is low resistance. It is not falling in these two are considered borderline leprosy. Borderline leprosy is between the passy leprosy and multibacillary leprosy. Between the border, it is have these both symptoms. So that's why it is called borderline leprosy. So this is main tuberculoid and lepromatous. So we see what is the based on the classification, based on the clinical, bacteriologic, and immunologic and histopathological features. Clinical, what are the signs and symptoms? And bacteriological, the present of the number of microorganisms. And immunological, what conditions of the immunological of the human being, and histopathological features. So the section cuttings, whatever you observe, depending upon that, they classified mainly passive bacillary leprosy. This one we can call as tuberculoid leprosy. Multibacillary, that is a borderline with a very number is very less, and multibacillary is a lepromatous leprosy. So majorly tuberculoid leprosy and lepromatous leprosy. This is borderline leprosy is between the passive bacillary and multibacillary. See here the skin lesions, the passive bacillary or tuberculoid leprosy, the lesions less than 5 or less than 5 and hypopigmented. The lesions are hypopigmented. Then if you come to the multibacillary, more than 5 lesions on the skin, more than 5 lesions with high pigmentation, hyperpigmentation. But in case of passive bacillary, they have the only hypopigmentation within the less than 5 lesions on the skin. We can observe, if we observe the lesions on the skin less than the 5 lesions, it is there, we consider as a passive bacillary or tuberculoid leprosy. If the more than 5, if it is a greater than 5, it is there, we can consider as a lepromatous leprosy. And also in the lepromatous leprosy, the patient has the loss of sensation and loss of eyebrows, and neuronal damage is more. Okay, and hyperpigmentation. The lesions have the hyperpigmentation, but if you take a passive bacillary, have the only hypopigmentation. Come to the borderline leprosy. Borderline leprosy is a either 5 lesions or 6 lesions, 7 lesions is present, but the pigmentation only borders only borders on. If you have any, see, this is tuberculoid leprosy. The lesions are very less. This is lepromatous leprosy. This is lepromatous leprosy. So the lesions are more. The lesions are more. But if you taken the borderline leprosy, the borderline leprosy, only the border only have the hyperpigmentation, the inside hypopigmentation. If you take one circle, in that the border have the hyperpigmentation, the inside hypopigmentation. So border only, that's why it is a borderline leprosy. Okay. So leprosy attacks the nervous system, especially particularly the nervous system of the hands, feet and face. Particularly hands, face and feet. So in tuberculosis leprosy, skin lesions typically develop areas of nerve damage, skin become pale, may develop reddish copper color. So lepromatous leprosy, loss of sensation to prick, a light touch starts at the fingers and toes, affect the small patches of skin to begin with. But as the time passes, many skin lesions and nodules develop organ deformities. Slowly, the leprosy, it goes to chronic. So the lesions slowly increases, step by step is more. Then after that, nodules formation. Then after that, organ deformities. Organ deformities are the organ loss of his original, whatever the structure. Either first they can affect the hands and legs, then after that nose and cheeks. So the organ deformities are developed. So these tuberculosis leprosy, the bacilli are usually absent in slit skin smears. The histopathologically shows the tuberculosis granulomatous composite epithelioid cells surrounded by zone of lymphocytes. So you know very well regarding our immunity system. If any foreign organism entered, immediately our the lymphocytes activated. Where it is occupied lymphocytes, but these organisms enter into the lymphocytes, they also survive. So that is the capability of these Mycobacterium leprae. So lepramin test is strongly positive. This is a tuberculosis leprosy. So very few areas only we can affect. Less than 5 we can call it as a tuberculosis leprosy, or 5 or less than 5. If you get more lesions, this is one lesion. So like that, if it is 5 or less than 5, it is there, we can consider as tuberculosis leprosy. If this in this border, if you take it in this border, the border only have the hyperpigmentation, in the inside only hypopigmentation, if it is there, we can consider it as a borderline leprosy. That is the major difference between the tuberculosis leprosy and borderline leprosy. Then if you take a lepromatous leprosy, the continuous lesions consist of macules, papules and infiltration or nodules. This is very chronic and systemic, is affected more. So there are numerous bilateral and symmetrical defined with a shiny surface. The sites commonly affected, mainly the affected is face, arms, legs and buttocks, but maybe anywhere. The maximum possibility, face, arms, legs and buttocks. This is lepromatous leprosy. So the lesions are more and make nodules Then after that, it lost the structure of the skin. That is the deformities. If it is affected to the fingers, slowly the finger will lose the structure. So that is the next diagnosis, clinical symptoms diagnosis, anesthesia, nerve enlargement, anesthesia. So you have the loss of sensation, nerve enlargement and characteristic skin lesions. So slit skin smears, gel Nelson staining, we can do the one staining method of skin smear. Skin biopsy we can check. Nerve biopsy we can check. Lepromin test we can check. These are all the parameters we can diagnose the leprosy. So these are clinical symptoms of diagnosis. Skin smear test. So, gel, Nielsen and carbon fission stain. So, absence of bacteria in smear, passive bacillary. If the bacteria is absence, you can consider passive bacillary. The presence of bacteria in smear. In the smear, if you get into the microorganism, we can consider it as a multibacillary. The lesion is there, but if the no bacteria, if it is no bacteria, no organism, the microbacteria, if it is not there, we can consider as it is a passive bacillary. If it is present, we can consider as multibacillary. Nothing but lepromatous leprosy. Passive bacillary we can also call tuberculoid leprosy. Lepromin test. It is an immunologic test inactive of the host resistance to Mycobacterium leprae. A sample of inactivated causing bacteria is injected just under the skin, usually on the forearm. So, the immune system recognizes and produces allergic reaction positive. The immune system does not recognize negative. Does not recognize, we can consider as negative. So, lepromatous leprosy negative goes in the tuberculosis positive goes. Depending upon this, they can consider the either it is tuberculoid leprosy or lepromatous leprosy. So how these nerves are damaged? So I said already, it is distributed through the blood. Nothing but blood. There is a systemic infection. So it is affect to the nerves. There, inflammation takes place. After inflammation, demyelination. When the demyelination takes place of the nerve, it is damaged. Then after that, it is a loss of sensation. Loss of sensation. So this is the way of how these Mycobacterium leprae, the possibility to damage the nerve. So outcomes of nerve damage: sensory loss, paralysis, deformities. So it lost the structure. It lost the structure, normal position. So National Leprosy Eradication Program. So the National Leprosy Program launched in 1982 to control the number of leprosy infections. So one program it is there. They are to control the number of leprosy infections. In 1983, the strategies for leprosy control were changed, and the National Leprosy Eradication Program was launched. In the same year, multi-drug therapy was also launched. So ensure that early detection and complete multi-drug therapy of leprosy. So what are the program is motto is to detect the early and give the multi-drug therapy and to eradicate the leprosy. So carrying out surveys for detection of multi-bacillary leprosy and leprosy in children. Their work is wherever the possibility of leprosy is transmission is there, wherever they found the leprosy patients, they immediately treat with the multi-drug therapy. So conducting health education classes are also a part of the program. So they educate the poor peoples, uneducated peoples. So this is the possibility of to developing the leprosy. So mainly to avoid the crowd, then and also better to avoid the leprosy patient from the away from them. So the clinical, these are the diagnosis of one more. The clinical symptoms is anesthesia, nerve enlargement, characteristic skin lesions, already we studied. So definite loss of sensation in pale, hypopigmented and or reddish skin patch, hypopigmented. Thickened enlarged peripheral nerve and with loss of sensation we can consider as a hyperpigmentation we can call as a lepromatous leprosy. Very pale and hypopigmentation we can call as a tuberculoid leprosy. So then come to the anti-leprotic drugs. So in the anti-leprotic drugs we can consider, because the classification is sulfones. The first drug is sulfones classification. Under the only one drug is dapsone, and the finazine derivative is clofazimine, and anti-tubercular drugs is rifampin or rifampicin, ethionamide, and other antibiotics is ofloxacin, moxifloxacin, and minocycline and clarithromycin. This is the classification for the anti-leprotic drugs. Dapsone is the most active drug chemically related to sulfonamides and has the same mechanism of action. Sulfamethoxazole, already you studied, we studied the sulfonamides drugs, how they are acting. They inhibit the which enzyme? Dihydrofolic acid synthetase, dihydrofolate reductase enzyme. So this is the possibility. They mainly to inhibit the formation of tetrahydrofolic acid. So when the tetrahydrofolic acid not formed, it is very, very essential for the DNA formation. So the microorganism not survived. So these dapsone drug, it's bind to the Mycobacterium leprae and inhibit the formation of tetrahydrofolic acid. So next formation of DNA does not happen. See, so folate synthetase, dihydrofolic acid synthetase. So pteridine plus folate, it is formed the dihydrofolic acid. Then after that, dihydrofolic acid is converted into tetrahydrofolic acid in the presence of dihydrofolate reductase to form these tetrahydrofolic acid used in the synthesis of purines and pyrimidines. That purines and pyrimidines, it is essential for the DNA formation. So these dapsone drugs, if it is inhibited, there is no formation of tetrahydrofolic acid, there is no formation of DNA, followed by the microorganism will die. So that is the dapsone mechanism. Some same mechanism we can read and write it. Also active against certain protozoan, Plasmodium falciparum, Toxoplasma gondii, and fungus pneumocystis and Girovicae. So these are the possibilities. Then adverse effects, mild hemolytic anemia. Already we discussed what are the adverse effects of this. And glucose 6-phosphate deficiency, gastric intolerance, headache, presbyopia, cutaneous reaction, drug eruption, hypermelanosis, and phototoxicity, and rarely afloxacin dermatitis. Already I said that if you taken any antibiotic, if you taken nausea, vomiting, first GIT problems, nausea, vomiting, and allergic reactions, skin allergic disease, dermatitis, an allergic reaction, and headache, CNS problems. The sulfone syndrome. If you continuously taking these sulfur drugs, what happened? Develops 4 weeks after starting dapsone treatment, we can get fever, malaise, lymph node enlargement, and desquamatation of skin, jaundice, and anemia. So these are all sulfone syndrome. So sulfone valla we can get one syndrome. That's why it is called a sulfone syndrome. That what are the signs, symptoms? It is a desquamatation of skin and jaundice and anemia and lymph node enlargement, fever, malaise. So this is the, so what is happening in the sulfone syndrome? The possibility generally seen in malnourished patient. Generally seen in malnourished. Just those patient have the dry and they have the melanin very low. the patient only getting these type of cell phone syndrome, and treatment stopping this dapsone and corticosteroid therapy along with the supportive measures. Conduct severe anemia. So those patients have the already anemia condition. We cannot give. We cannot give because of already the dapsone produces the anemia. If the anemia patient again, if you given severe anemia, then there is no possibility of the patient to survive. And those who have the glucose 6 phosphate deficiency, it is very essential for the cycles, nothing but glycolysis and citric acid cycles, and hypersensitivity reactions. So some few people have the hypersensitive reactions, and it leads to spasm of bronchus, so leads to death. Next, other using in combination with the pyrimethamine and chloroquine resistant malaria. So we can give the in the malaria also. Those patient getting the resistant to the chloroquine, and the toxoplasmosis and pneumonia infections. So these are the possibility of infections. Okay, this is the these are the questions regarding leprosy. What is leprosy and causing organism? Types of leprosy. Classification of anti-leprosy or anti-leprotic drugs. Dapsone mechanism of action. And one more is question is uh, dapsone adverse effect and uses. Okay, adverse effects and uses we have to write. So thank you, Ananda.